Another unusual aspect of Building 7's collapse is that some media outlets reported it happened before it actually happened. Here's footage of the BBC reporting that Tower 7 was down. Keep in mind, this was filmed live 20 minutes before Building 7 actually collapsed.
Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Salomon Brothers was Building 7's major tenant, and you can see the tower in the background of the shot. Was that just rushed reporting on the day of the attacks, or did the BBC have advance word that the building was coming down? If the media did have foreknowledge of the events that day, they weren't alone. Buried deep in the 9/11 Commission report on page 499, one easily missed footnote says there was a surge in put options, investments that profit when stock prices fall. These put options were put against United Airlines' parent company, and they were placed on September 6th and then against American Airlines on September 10th. Incredibly, the report goes on to note that 95% of the trade against United Airlines was made by a single US-based institutional investor. So who was that investor? Well, we don't know. The US government is still hiding his name. They refuse to tell us. Why? No one will say. The commission report says an investigation by the FBI found out the trades were, quote, innocuous, whatever that means. Researchers have since discovered that these trades are far from innocuous, with trading volumes showing statistical significance, massive statistical significance. There were other trades too. On September 7th, the number of put options placed against British Airways was 4 times the normal volume. The number of put options against American Airlines on the day before the attack was 285 times the normal volume. In the days before the attacks, put options surged against Morgan Stanley and Merrill Lynch. Both banks had sizable offices in the World Trade Center. There were also notable surges in gold and oil call options in advance of the attacks. But who could have known the attacks were coming, apart from Al-Qaeda? One highly significant yet often overlooked aspect of the 9/11 attacks is that foreign intel agencies, including those of ostensible allies, likely had detailed prior knowledge of the event.
These 9/11 hijackers had come from Germany. Were the Germans asleep at the switch, or did they just not tell us anything about these people?
John Kiriakou was chief of counterintelligence on the bin Laden unit.
What about the Israelis? What about the Saudis? There is solid evidence that members of the Saudi royal family were working with al-Qaeda terrorists.
The 9/11 Commission, not surprisingly, ignored this subject altogether. Here's what we know. As early as January of 2001, France's Foreign Intelligence Service learned that al-Qaeda was planning a hijacking plot involving a U.S. airline. What did the French tell the United States and when? We don't know. But the French are not alone. Others knew.
If there's one thing that has been very controversial, keeping aside JFK or MLK, is the whole 9/11 and how there were so many cover-up. And even until now, no one can say for sure what really happened. We have the official narrative from the authorities in America, which has been constantly debunked by people as just being lies or maybe BS. We still don't know what happened. And I'm grateful that Dr. Carlson has taken upon himself to share more light on this issue in the hope that we get the real story behind it. I would not bet on that. When have we ever gotten the real story about anything except what those in power want us to know? Ask yourself. They have rewritten history. They have whitewashed incidents. They have just let us know just what they want us to know. So on this particular issue, I wouldn't hold my breath on that. because I just think that, like, what most people have done before Tucker Carlson, his tool will just be put in the back burner, and that will be the end of it. Also, what about Charlie? Charlie Kirk, who was taken down. What has happened with his own incident? I mean, someone was arrested, someone was accused of being the shooter, and the case is ongoing in court. But what have come of it? And in as much as people on the internet and people who know more about guns have disputed the whole narrative or timeline that the FBI has put forward, still yet the government is moving ahead with their own plans and they are sticking to their narrative. That's how things are ongoing. So sometimes things like this, I am sure we will never really know what happened. I saw a video where someone was asking about the incident with Donald Trump, the attempted, I don't know, killing or shooting or whatever on Donald Trump during the campaign. And someone was like, what has happened with that case? Like, what is going on with that case? Everyone has just forgotten. And this is the thing with us humans. These days, we get flooded with so much information that we can barely keep track on any issue. As quickly as issues come up, they are quickly forgotten. Yeah, no one is even talking about Charlie Kirk. Everyone has moved on, Everyone has just moved on. So let me say this one more time. The government will always do what benefits them. They will always tell us what they want us to know. And they will always shove their narrative down our throat. It doesn't matter whether we believe them or not. They really don't care. They really don't care. So you guys have to be careful with the information you get from your government or from the government, because they are never truthful. They will never tell us what they don't want us to know. That is just it. There are a lot of unanswered questions that people are asking. And if there's one thing I know for sure is that chaos benefit the elite more than peace. And they will rather we have chaos and confusion and disagreement among ourselves than unity, than togetherness, than peace. If you have been following the incident in Libya very closely, you would have realized that since the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi, Libya hasn't been the same. Have you realized that? Libya now has two governments, one in, I think, in Tripoli and one in, I think, in Benghazi. These two governments don't agree, and as the infighting is going on, the oil companies are just digging their oil, isn't it? Just busy carrying their oil away. So that's why I'm saying that these people, they really don't want to see peace. And you must know this. The infighting doesn't benefit you, so don't fight it. The confusion doesn't benefit you, so stay away from it. Avoid it. And remember, the chaos won't benefit you. So don't start it. We must all get to this level of consciousness that we realize most of the things that the elites are pitting us against each other is not for our own good, but rather for their own good. And we must not play their game. We must stop playing their game. This is something that we all must come to realize. Because if we don't realize this, we will keep on playing their game, a game that has been rigged against us from the very beginning, a game that we will never win, and we were never meant to win because the game was never in our favor. Just like the playground is being tilted against us. So no matter how we kick the ball, it just rolls down back to us or against us. We will never win it. So don't play it.